House Speaker John Boehner, we've been reporting, facing a rebellion among conservative Republicans, postponing a vote on the measure scheduled for Wednesday. Insiders say neither the Boehner plan nor the Reid Plan can get through both houses of Congress. They are crafting alternatives from what we hear. Our next guest says the Reid Plan much more logical. She was the director of domestic policy on Obama's 2008 campaign. She is now the COO for the Center for American Progress. It is a progressive think tank. Neera Tanden joining us now from our Washington bureau. Thanks for joining us this morning. Republicans say Reid's plan relies on gimmicks such as counting $1 trillion in savings from ending the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Is that fair criticism?
Well, you know, obviously the Ryan plan counted on the same level of savings and counted that towards deficit reduction. So I think right now there's a lot of posturing about the Reid plan. I actually hope very dearly that Senator McConnell and Senator Reid are also talking and thinking through other options as we get close to August 2nd.
But it doesn't really matter what was in the Ryan plan, does it? Because that's not on the table now as what we are debating about. The question is, the point is this: the Reid plan at least does not have new revenues. So there's a sort of similarity to the Boehner plan. Neither has revenues, both have spending cuts. The question is, can we make these cuts real enough, not only to get a debt ceiling increase through, but to get the ratings agencies off the back of the government for a downgrade? Because, again, a downgrade here will be a sort of, as we say in soccer, a bit of an own goal. I mean, there's no need to put this one into the net.
Well, I mean, the only reason I raised the Ryan plan is because it's Republicans who are criticizing the Reid plan. And they're criticizing the Reid plan based on $1 trillion in war savings. And each and every House Republican voted for the Ryan plan, and that plan counted on the same level of savings. So that's why I think it's important, because I think it shows that we're engaged in a lot of political posturing. There's no revenue in the Reid plan. There's not significant entitlement reform in the Reid plan. It's an approach that I don't think any Democrat strongly favors. You know, we certainly don't think it is progressive by any means, but it is a step that actually provides direct savings. We're looking at $2 trillion of savings, and I think that is something that is a reasonable step as we get to August 2nd. And really what we're arguing about is whether we should have this debate again in the next few months. It's now looks, according to CBO, that the Boehner plan might have us come back in 4 months, 5 months. And so I think this question really is about stability and credibility, and I think the Reid plan offers more stability and credibility.
Neera, why has this taken so long? I mean, as John said at the top of the show here, we could have had an easier time if the Obama administration had come forward with a budget in January, February that was credible. And then, of course, the entitlement issue is one that the president has been talking about for a long time. And no matter how much we hope for it, there's no change here. It seems like business as usual with this administration.
Well, no, I think, look, the president was willing to do a grand bargain last week, which had entitlements and revenues on the table. And, I mean, not on the table, actually. Significant savings to entitlements, far less revenue. But still, he was willing to put that forward. So I don't think it's really fair to argue that the administration hasn't taken strong steps and hasn't actually led on this. What happened here is that every time revenue has been on the table, John Boehner has walked away.
Well, but he moved the goal for revenue. He raised it 50% after 2 weeks of negotiation. I mean, if you're going to buy a car for 30 grand and the day you go into the dealership, the guy says, actually, I want 45. It's a pretty significant change.
It wasn't 2 weeks, and of course, it's now come to light that the president called Speaker Boehner on Saturday and said, look, I'll take the number that you gave. So he was basically willing to take essentially the Republican offer and the Republican part of the deal. He was basically willing to say, all right, I'll take your deal. Let's just move forward. And Boehner couldn't say yes to that. So I think that really proves the point that Speaker Boehner is unable to say yes. And we're seeing that now. It's not clear that he can muster the votes for really anything. And, you know, it's really a question of whether the House Republican Party is the House Republicans are actually willing to deal with this. Right.
Neera, we thank you. Neera Tanden joining us there. She is a former Obama campaign advisor. She's now the COO for the Center for American Progress.